As a precursor to this conversation, I just want to say there will be some coarse language. That's what happens when you have combat arms talking with more combat arms. So viewer discretion or listener discretion is advised. Hey, what's going on? It is Sergeant First Class David Donaldson here with the Leading the Guard podcast, and today I'm going to be bringing in a good friend of mine. His name is Chris Kellum. I don't know if he retired. I'm going to ask him what rank he retired as because I know he's finally out. This dude is one of the biggest social media influencers for not only the state of Florida, but for the Army National Guard. I remember being in Indiana and somebody asking about him. And they're like, hey, Sergeant D, you know this guy? And they showed me a video of him. I was like, yeah, I was actually deployed with him. And they're like, no way. So I'm bringing him in because if there's anybody I want to talk to about fitness in the Army and more, it's my buddy Chris Kellum. So let's get the conversation going.
Hello.
Hey, what is up, man? Ooh.
What's up, Donaldson? How you doing, man?
It's so good to hear from you and not just listening to you through your videos.
Dude, I know. It's crazy, man. It's like a blast in the past, like hearing your voice. I'm like, God. It was always so like pleasant hearing your voice. I was like, man, like that radio voice. I think I told you to do a podcast in the past, but I don't remember.
You did. The last time we talked was at XTTC, and you actually had a random fan from when you were doing airline stuff, and that blew up for you. Yeah, that random kid that comes up, he's like, "Oh man, my girl, she just loves your videos." I was like, well, you got to get a photo with him because I threw you up under like that. But
I remember that. That was a while ago.
Dude,
that's the last time we talked.
2018? Yeah, man.
Yeah.
God. I ran into you at XTTC. It was so good seeing you. I ran into a lot of the guys from Bravo Company, and I was super stoked to see all of y'all. I haven't told this story, dude, but I was like inches from coming back to the infantry with you guys because when I got back from our deployment in 2016, I just hated where I was at, and I was like, you know what? This is miserable, and if I'm going to be miserable, I'd rather go be miserable with the infantry.
That is true. Yeah. That is 100% true, man. Are you still in?
I am, man. This would actually be a surprise to our squad leader, but I actually did. I made it to Sergeant First Class. I'm eligible for First Sergeant coming up in November. I'm up in Minnesota now. Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I want to get him on too one day because I really just want to ask him. I was like, dude, why were you so hard on me? And there's so many things I want to ask him and see, but this one is actually about you, my buddy. And what did you? Because you're out now. You're officially out, right?
Yeah, dude. I did a medical retirement, April 2025. So yeah, a little over a year.
Yeah, what did you retire as? Because it had to have been at least E5, right? Because you were skyrocketing, and you had the world ahead of you.
I got to E6.
Oh, you did.
So I got out of. Yeah, I did. My last year, it worked out. It was weird how it worked out because I knew I was in the med board process for like 2 years, and they were telling me I couldn't get promoted to E6, but I don't know what happened, but somehow I got selected, and then I went back to the infantry. I just took the E6 slot, and then they're like, well, since you're medically retiring, like you can actually go back and do nothing with the marketing team. I was like, okay. So it kind of worked out for me. And
it worked out for the state of Florida, man. Some of their videos were going viral. So much so, and I'll speak about this in the intro, is that I actually had one of my soldiers from Indiana that saw one of your videos and asked me if I knew you. And I was like, oh, no, I was actually deployed with him. And I actually pulled up a photo of us together on deployment.
Dude, hell yeah. Dude, I remember you always brewing your coffee in the barracks. I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to like this guy.
Dude, I still do that. When I go out to the field, it was a lot easier when I became an E7 and I have my own truck, and I still brew coffee out in the field. I've had sergeant majors come up and ask me for coffee. It's still my thing.
Dude, that's amazing.
I'm having you on this podcast because I want, when it comes to fitness, it's obviously a big thing for leadership, especially in the combat arms world, but it should be for everybody across. Yeah. But I tell all my guys, if there's somebody that's going to give you the best advice on how to get better in shape, I always send them to your Instagram videos, all the stuff that you've taught. I've picked up tricks from it. So first off, plug your Instagram, your socials. We'll talk about a little bit of who you are, but what sets you on that path, man?
Yeah, so Instagram is Kelly2. We have the military fitness app, which we launched last year.
Is that
that
your
is just
app?
Yeah, it's my app.
No kidding.
We launched that. It's military fitness training, but I want to make sure to give you the right name because right now I'm in the process of rebuilding and rebranding it. And at first my vision was to take it and do it with all branches, but I think I decided since like my niche is the Army, it's just going to be an Army fitness test app. But it's called Military Fitness Training right now.
Okay. I'll make sure the links get posted wherever this is at as well. So
Hell yeah. And then YouTube is, I think it's just at Kellum, but I'm not really as active. I'm starting to get a little more active. I'm documenting my training for a Ironman, and then I'm doing a marathon with Team Red, White, and Blue in Berlin this September. So got a big, busy year. And fitness, when it really started for me was as a kid. I loved reading Men's Health, Muscle and Fitness. I was always like looking at like the next workout to do or the next like pre-workout. And then when we went overseas, I was helping a couple people train and lose weight. And one of them was Gonzo. I remember he lost a bunch of weight. And I was like, man, this feels so good to help somebody achieve something. So when we got home, I took like a period of, I don't know, a year where I was trying to figure out my life still. And it was weird. Like, we didn't see combat, but it's still like a big adjustment for me, especially with like the previous history of like I was on the path to go to flight school. I was in ROTC, but I got kicked out and all that stuff. But when I got back, I was like, well, I love fitness. I love training. I'm coming towards the end of college and I don't want to do logistics. And I just remember growing up and people would tell me like, you're not going to make money in the fitness space, like as a coach. I was like, well, maybe I could open a gym at some point. They're like, yeah, well, I'll just try to take a safer path,
Right.
And I felt like a majority of my youth was chasing safe opportunities, a safe degree, a safe job, and
you
coming home from deployment, and then I picked the infantry. Yeah. Yeah, I know. But I was like, I could have joined the military and not do infantry. I was like, I regret that. But yeah, when I got home, I was like, I love fitness. I just don't know what to do. And I don't know if you remember Sergeant Strail.
I do.
He sent me like a link to First Form, and it was like an ambassador program or something. And he's like, hey man, I know you like love fitness and stuff, so check this out. So I checked it out and I like applied and like I got accepted into their ambassador program. And this is like right around when I was like, maybe I'll get on social media too. I was very against like, I don't know. I always thought it was like cringe but I was also a person that like was a chameleon where I would blend in with my groups and my friends to try to fit in. But at this point I was like kind of trying to establish like who I was and what I wanted to do. I was like, I don't give a shit. I'm going to test out YouTube. I'm going to start posting on YouTube. I had no idea what I was doing. And that led me to, I met my girlfriend, which is now my wife. And she's like, well, I'm graduating and I'm going to be a flight attendant. And I was like, oh, maybe I could do that too. So I signed up and we did a couple interviews and we ended up both getting the same company, same job, and located in the same city. And so I just kind of took it as maybe this is my opportunity to, one, build out my social media, but I wanted to do a physique show at the time as well. So while I was traveling and training with the military and like living out of a suitcase, like I had a page called like Fit to Fly. And through that process, I documented the process of showing how I was able to stay disciplined with my training, with my nutrition while traveling like 22 plus days a year. And then this huge opportunity came up with a nonprofit. It was called FitOps at the time, but now it's called University of Health Performance, I believe, UHP. It's out in Arkansas. But it's a nonprofit for veterans or people even in the military. Like there was active duty people there was guard people there like myself, and then there were retired people. And what they do is they put you through a camp for 3 weeks where you learn how to become a certified personal trainer. And then you take a test at the end, and then you're certified. So I did that. I got my certification. And then through the first form, they launched a fitness app, and you could coach people through the app, and it was a free thing. I remember at one point I was coaching 100 people, people in the airline industry, people in the military, just wanting to get fit. And like out of like the 100 people, I was dedicating so much time to this process of helping people. Maybe 1 out of 10 people took it serious. So I got frustrated, and I was like, well, I talked to like another mentor of mine. He's like, well, if people don't have skin in the game, they're not really going to take it serious. Like, so you got to start charging. So after that year of doing free coaching, I launched my coaching platform, which has grown into what it has grown into now. But then the Army decided to launch the Army Combat Fitness Test. And people were coming to me like, hey, do you have any training programs or any tips or advice? And that's kind of when I started to push the content of, here are 3 tips for the sprint right carry, the standing power throw, or the deadlift, you know?
Yeah.
And that evolved into me building out a workout guide, and it was called the Hybrid Warrior Fitness Guide. And I posted it for free. It was a free guide. Like I put so much effort into, like this guide is like the perfect training guide if you're looking for it, which I've now put on the military fitness app, which is free to access.
There you go.
But it got downloaded by 12,000 people in like 8 months. And I was like, okay, there's a need. So I was like, okay, well, what is the next step? And that's when I partnered with another company where I was doing one-to-one coaching. So I had the one-to-one coaching package, and then I had a free guide. And I was like, well, it'd be really cool if I could package this into its own physical fitness app and like launch more programs. And so that was the next step with the whole process. And I actually met this kid. We partnered together for, I want to say like 8 months. And like we put sweat equity into it. He built the app with code, and I marketed the app. And I want to say the first month we had 2,500 downloads. And then 6 months in, we had 8,000 downloads. And
is that an additional 8,000, or is that with that 2,500 from original?
With the 2,500 original. Okay. So, and this is all organic too. We're not pushing ads. It's just me posting about it.
Yeah. And
telling people about the app. And we actually ended up having like a falling out at like the most pivotal point of the app's growth. We were going to partner with like one of the biggest companies offering special forces training. And he was the guy, I'm still good friends with him, so I might reach out to him in the future. But he was like, yeah, if you guys can create a section on the app where I can host my programs, it'd be an avenue for, one, us to collaborate where you can offer specialty training programs like Navy SEALs, PJs, Special Forces, MARSOC, all that. And during that time, my business partner was like, hey, I don't have time. Like, we're not making enough money. And he ended up basically just giving me the app after months of negotiating and struggle, I should say. I kind of just gave up because at one point he told me, he's like, dude, you want the app? Like, you got to pay me like $70,000. And I was like, dude, it's not worth that right now. I was I don't even know how to code.
Not even on 8,000 downloads.
Yeah, I was like, I don't even know how to code. Like, what am I even going to do with this? So I just started reaching out to other people to help build a new app. Because I was like, there's a product here. Like,
it really
this can really go somewhere.
I mean, because I'm looking at your Instagram right now, bro. Like I said, whenever I have soldiers that have questions about PT, I'm not the best. I know people that are better than me, and you are the guy that is better than me. So I always show them your videos. Hey, what are you messing up on? Oh, I'm having a hard time with sprint, drag, carry. So I go in and I find one of your tip videos and show them. I was like, trust me, if there's a guy that I know anything that knows about fitness, this was the guy I was competing with back when we were deployed together, because I was like, look, if I can beat him, then Ladrian can't give me any crap anymore.
Good old Sergeant Legion, dude. I wonder what he's up to, man. I would love to be on that call when you call him. Because I just want to, yeah.
I mean, and I want to talk about that too. Some of the fun things that we've had happen to us together. I like one of my favorite stories was like when we would do PCCs, PCIs before we'd go out during that 2 weeks before we deployed. And I would come to you as like, here, make my gear look like yours. And you would. And then he'd come by, he'd check you over, and then he'd step to me and he'd look at me and he'd go, this is wrong, that's wrong, this is wrong. I was like, what? And I remember looking at you and Overturf, and you guys were like, sorry, bro. It's just like,
dude, he tried.
But I have so much to tell him, and I want to get him on because when I think of an infantryman, I think of Sergeant Ladrian. Like that is like my picture of what infantry guys are like, and so I really want him to tell me, like, first off, bro, why'd you give me so much grief? Like towards the end of the deployment, he came to grow and like me. I don't know if he loved me. Like, I know Sergeant Bass loved me. Sergeant Bass, I grew on Sergeant Bass rather quickly versus other people, but
and I think leaders like that, they give people that they see the most potential in the hardest time. I think that's where it's coming from. You know, I think he saw a lot of potential in you, and it was out of like love. Like tough love, I guess.
It definitely shaped me into being a lot more like stern on like the little things, like not letting those things just slide because it's easy. And I can't say thank you enough to him. And one day I got to reach out to him. I know he's on Instagram. Dude, I want to talk some more about your fitness stuff and your fitness journey. What is your whole leadership philosophy behind that, though? Like, and you've come up with the app. You have a great platform on Instagram showing people how to like get better. And even if you're not a military person, there's so much great fitness advice. But like, what's your whole leadership philosophy behind just being in good physical shape?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. And as the years evolved, my why and my purpose has evolved. So when I was younger, it was, vanity, like look good, get the girls.
Really,
and then as I got older, man, it just, my body fell apart, and it just has become more about longevity and just like feeling my best. But of course, the byproduct is like still looking good and youthful. And, I think with with everything going on in the world and all this stuff, I feel like there's only so many things that you can control. And if you could learn to just control what you can control, and that's your physical and mental health, I think a lot of people would be in a happier place. But I think culture would change as well. Instead of like, I think we've got a thing right now with culture where people just like kind of point the finger and like they hope like the next politician will be the one to like save them. But at the end of the day, if culture doesn't change, nothing's going to change. And I think over the years we've kind of lost that culture, and it's as simple as like seeing trash on the ground and just picking it up, or taking that shopping cart that you see on the side and putting it away. Or like yesterday I saw like an American flag like tilting, touching the grass. I stopped, got out, and I fixed the American flag. Like doing the little things is how we're going to change culture. And it all starts with the individual self. So like my philosophy now is just in the pursuit of like personal excellence. And I understand that I'm not going to be perfect, which is perfectly fine, but I want to be on that path of becoming the best version and person of myself, because I know it's going to motivate and inspire someone else to potentially become better as well. So it's evolved from vanity to just being that role model to help other people want to become better.
I like it, man. I got a couple of more things I want to talk to you about. First off, I want to tell one of my favorite stories I love telling about you and I. And this, you probably could already guess where this one's going. This is when we first got to Africa, and I overslept through my alarm one time. And you came
Yeah.
up and you gave me just the biggest talking to, like I was the world's. And granted, you were put in a leadership position and you got to talk to some jobber that just, he slept through the late. And then the very next day, it wasn't like it was, a week later. It was the very next day you slept through the alarm and you wouldn't look at me in the face because you thought I was going to come up and give you shit. But my favorite part of this is about a day, at the end of the day, you go, hey, man, are you not going to give me anything? I was like, bro, it happens. It's a one-time deal. Like, I don't expect you to be
That is
late
so
tomorrow.
funny, dude. I don't even remember that, which is hilarious because that is funny. And I was probably like thinking, like, man, I got to give him tough love, like being like a young kid, like not knowing what leadership is like, yeah, got to give it to him tough.
It's still one of my favorite stories to tell about Africa. 'Cause I'm going to tell you, I hated that deployment. I loved you and the guys I was with. I hated Africa. I hated that deployment. I hated the mindset of the many above us. Yeah. But the people that I was with are the only saving grace of that whole year. Like that's the truth about it. If I'd have been with the maintenance company or anything like that, I don't think I would have been near as happy. And
100%.
So it was like I still look to my time attached to the infantry as some of the best time. Final question I got before go for it.
Best and worst summer camp ever.
I gotta tell you, man, it spawned my phrase of like, how do you explain the military people? It's about doing shitty shit with your shitty friends. And I came up with that when I was there with you guys, and we did this like ruck march out to we were doing Battle Drill 1 Alpha out there on that little spot by the flight line there in Djibouti. And we had to ruck march out there, and I was like, this is a bunch of bullshit. And everybody's like, yeah, it's it's kind of shitty, but at least you're with us. And I was like, all right, you got me there. But final question I got, and I'll definitely have you back on, man, because I think there's just so much that you have to offer, not only the older generation of the military, but especially the new cats that are coming up. But what is some advice that you would give back to yourself, maybe as an E4 in that spot, or just like what is leadership advice or career advice you'd give back to yourself just to help you get through everything moving forward?
Man, that's a good question. I would say like I'm going to give you one thing that I believe that I'm pretty good at because I've been like kind of criticized for it. And it's toxic positivity.
What?
And I don't know why, but I just remember always just being so positive in like the worst situations. And people would give me so much shit. When I was in like the sniper section, they'd be like, Kellum, shut the fuck up with the positivity. Like, this sucks. I was like, yeah, it sucks, but like, what else are we going to do? So it's just like really just enjoy and embrace those moments that you're going through right now, because like looking back and reflecting on everything that like we've all been through and like all the hard times, like those are like the most fulfilling times of the military. So really just like embrace those moments, because I do miss those moments. I do miss the suck. So like thinking back to most of the guys that I was surrounded with and like their negative mindset, I would try to encourage people to have like a more positive mindset and outlook on the situation that you're in, because you're doing what less than 1% of 1%ers doing in the world. And the experiences that you get and the memories that you're going to get from everything that you're doing, just like embrace that. So that's, I think, one thing that I did good, but a lot of people didn't like. And I saw in other people had like a negative mindset. And then in terms of advice for myself, my younger self is, do what, like I was saying earlier, I kind of just chose paths based on what people told me would be safe and like good for like life and doing things. And it really delayed the process on like things I wanted to do, like putting myself out there, getting on social media. So, if you're taking advice from someone that's not doing what you want to do, take it with a grain of salt, because they don't understand what it takes to achieve and get to where you want to go. So just follow your gut, take the risk, take the chances, and, forget about, take, like I said, what everybody else says with a grain of salt, but take more risks. That's basically what I'm getting down to.
I like it,
Just
man.
take more risks. Yeah.
Well, because
long-winded, but
no, it's okay. Because look, man, you got to sit back. You don't know how long you would have to talk to your younger self and be like, dude, just take the risk. And I kind of like it
yeah,
because some people just they play it safe and then they wonder why their careers aren't going anywhere. It's because you've taken the easy path every step of the way. Like I could have,
exactly.
I could have stayed with the truck drivers and been a truck driver for a career, but I don't think I would have gotten near as far if I hadn't switched over to the artillery. And now I'm an E7 looking at E8 here in the future, and it's kind of wild. But I appreciate that, man. Go ahead, plug yourself again. I'm going to make sure all the links are down below in both the bios because this will be on podcast and on YouTube because I'm a broadcaster, so I cast my net very broad.
I love it. Yeah, if anything, just follow the military fitness training social media pages, download the fitness app. There's free programs on there. There's a paid version, of course, but you can still get a lot of value from the free version. So 100% download that. And then if anybody is listening and they're in Houston, I just launched a run club as well because the goal is to build a community of like-minded people. So if you're interested, it's called Social Dopamine Run Club.
Awesome. I want to say thanks again to my buddy Christopher Kellum. I know him as Kellum, and I can't say thank you enough. Honestly, when I got done right there, we ended up staying on the phone for another 10, 15 minutes just talking about crazy stories and fun. We will have him back on. I want to talk about the med board process with him. I think he'll have some advice for people coming through. Anyway, this is the Leading the Guard podcast. If you have any questions or concerns or want to reach back out to me, you can do it on my email, david.donaldsoniv@gmail.com. Otherwise, like, subscribe to wherever you're getting this podcast. I can't say thank you enough. Until next time, have a good one.